So just tell me a little bit about your business and you joining the firm, and then maybe a little bit about your vision for growth.
Okay. I joined First Financial after having a pretty long and successful career at the Wirehouse. And I was in management. I was an executive director. I controlled 2 states. I had 225 financial advisors that reported to me and managers. And I left because of a significant management change that firm was going through. And I looked around and tried to decide what I was going to do. And I could have gone the Wirehouse route, but I ended up going with an independent broker-dealer with an RIA attached. That company is out of Scottsdale, Arizona, First Financial Equity Corporation, and it was started in 1985. I have opened up an office here in Colorado, here in Denver, started it from scratch, and we've recruited 19 brokers into the Denver location, and 11, we actually opened up an office in Montana as well. And things have been going great. We've got a broker-dealer, we've got an RIA, we've got insurance. We're kind of known as a hybrid in the industry. We're not a straight RIA firm or straight broker-dealer. And I bumped into, I actually recruited some folks from UBS, major wirehouse, and they were significant players in the fee-based business. And they had a very large relationship that they needed to bring over, and the custodian that we used for the broker-dealer didn't really work. The economics didn't work. So it took me about 6 months before I found Trust Company, and you solved the problem. And not only did Trust Company solve the problem for this team that had the one money manager that has been added now to the MUOP program here at Trust Company, but as we delved more into it, we saw that you had this unified managed account platform. Very cost effective, very attractive for the customer to have a unified managed account. And so what we've done at First Financial is we have added the UMA as a platform, making it available to not only the brokers in Denver and Billings, but in Scottsdale and Dallas and across the whole firm. So that's really been a huge uptick for us.
So the MUOP, and we're going to be rebranding the name of that. So I guess that's the multiple managers. But then you also use, as I understand it from Paul and what you just were sharing, is the UMA, the Unified Managed Account. So could you talk a little bit more and think about if we were to use this and you're kind of trying to tell your peers in how you use those two things together, assuming that that's pretty unique, actually. Can you just speak more specifically about how those two things work together to create growth?
On the Unified Managed Account platform, you can use models that include professional boutique managers that manage their portion of the portfolio, as well as mutual funds and ETFs all in one account. So we can have multiple managers, some of them being long-term growth, some of them being alternative investments, some of them being core value, all in one account with performance reporting and statements all coming to the client in one statement, if you will. So that's really powerful.
So that unique model then, is that something that you're pitching to capture breakaway brokers? And maybe you want to talk a little bit about, just segue from that into
Right.
what that means as a differentiator for you as you capture books.
Right. In the wirehouse environment, they're accustomed to having a lot of variety and in terms of the access to the money managers. But on the independent space, it's not quite as easy. Trust Company has really created their own platform, which allows different money managers to sit or perform together in one account. And when I'm talking to wirehouse brokers, that are looking for a place to go, that don't want to go necessarily open up their own shop, but they want to affiliate with a broker-dealer and an RIA firm. This is a solution that is very cost-effective, absolutely great technology, and is very attractive for them.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to say anything about FFEC and why you're someone useful to join as a breakaway? I mean, you don't have to. I just want to give you that opportunity if you want to.
To say what now?
To say why they should join.
Well, I think the value proposition for First Financial Equity Corporation is that the brokers can have well, let me start over.
That's okay.
I told you I was going to be
like,
nervous.
Jennifer, you didn't tell me all these questions.
I get nervous in front of the camera, I guess. I tried doing a commercial one time. It worked out really terribly.
It did?
Yeah, horribly.
You're doing very, very well. So,
well, that's very kind of you to say.
Just pretend it doesn't exist. So why would a breakaway broker go to FFEC?
Basically, we will double their take-home pay, and they can lower their fees. The value proposition is the broker can lower the fees to the client and pretty much double their earned income.
Okay, so how? I mean, how does that? How can that really be?
Well, I know what a wirehouse offers because I spent so much time there in terms of support, and I also know what the payout is. So we give virtually all of the support that they would be accustomed to at a wirehouse, but about double the payout. And the reason is because we don't have the multiple levels of management. We don't have legacy legal problems that are just burying them. We don't have negative brand equity that's being carried forward where they're losing assets. We're actually gaining assets. So it's a pretty attractive proposition to a breakaway broker that has a long-term perspective. Now, if they're looking for a big upfront check, that's not going to work. Because we don't have that in our business model. But if they want to double their income in perpetuity for as long as they're in the business, we're a pretty good option for them.
Excellent. So if you were to, we talked a lot about the multiple managed unified account program, but and then also the UMA. But beyond that, if you were to speak to me as the new marketing person, and you were orienting me on the advantages of Trust Company and the efficiencies that it provides, what would you tell me are the most spectacular parts of the company and the technology?
Well, the technology is able to amalgamate different parts of the investment business all into one account. And that's very powerful. You get a view from the technology that's very useful to use with the customer as well as with prospective brokers who are looking at using First Financial's platform, the UMA platform.
Anything you want to add about service? And you sure don't have to. I don't know if you've experienced that.
We started talking to the trust company in about January of 2010. We opened our first account, had all the agreements in place by May of 2010. Since then, we've opened 78 accounts, and we're growing very quickly. We were assigned a relationship manager who's been fantastic. And sometimes things come up because it's new. He has people that I know that he goes to get his questions answered very, very quickly. We had an issue yesterday that was resolved today, and I'm just tickled with the service so far that we've gotten.
That's excellent. Anything else?
I don't think so.